when I would walk into a brewery, I'm the only person that looked like me.
Sure.
Like, it's not a very diverse crowd. It's getting more diverse, which is awesome. And you walk into a brewery and it's so intimidating to see that board. And you're just like, oh my God, what do I order? What if I don't like this? What if I don't like that? I don't want to look like a fool,
Yeah.
So it was more than anything just to kind of teach women that maybe don't know about beer. And I just feel like if I can give these people a voice or help them out so they can experience the love of craft beer that I have, I think that's awesome. So.
You are listening to the Capital Craft Podcast, brought to you by the San Diego Brewers Guild. I am your host, Eric Fowler.
Hi, I'm Esthela.
Hey, Esthela.
I'm the new president of the guild.
The 2025 president. We're happy to have you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really looking forward to having this position. I'm excited.
Yeah, and having you as a guest today, I think is pretty apt, right? We built this podcast to speak directly to the San Diego industry.
Right.
We try to tackle topics and have conversations that are relevant to the relatively small group that our industry consists of locally.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell listeners a little bit more about yourself, how you came into beer, aside from drinking and liking it?
Yeah, aside from drinking it. It all started in Tijuana.
It's all good stories too.
Yeah. So I'm a first generation Mexican-American. My mom and my dad are both from Mexico. So honestly, it did start in Tijuana because that's where my dad's from. My uncle worked for a brewery down there that did Carta Blanca. So as a kid, I was putting beers into paper bags for customers. But honestly, when I started drinking craft beer, I just was like, I want to see what else I can do in this ginormous world of beer. And I started volunteering for events first off, and I volunteered so much for them that they just hired me because I was always there. And I would go to breweries all the time. I got to meet a ton of people. And then through that, I met Brian Beagle, and he invited me to be on podcast, the Indie Beer Show. Mm-hmm. And that went on for, like 6 years. And we just got to the point where we were too busy. We couldn't do it anymore. But I had already started working in beer. I started a club for women just to kind of teach and empower them about beer. And then that turned into a brewery. And then, then I started working for another brewery. I was volunteering for Pink Boots, which I still do now. I'm actually part of leadership here in San Diego. I am the brew day liaison for all brew days, the collab brew days that all the breweries can sign up for. And if you haven't signed up, please sign up. And that's just to help women and non-binary individuals that are in the fermented beverage world. Mm-hmm. So that's a worldwide organization. And San Diego is the third largest chapter in the world, but we are the largest city chapter. A nation and a state beat us. Mm-hmm. So technically we're the largest one, like citywide. So we're pretty proud of that. Our membership is pretty high and we're pretty active too. So, So yeah, it's just, I just like to drink beer and I work at Kilowatt. I'm a community relations director there. I'm behind the bar. I just do a little bit of everything there. So yeah, that's kind of me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you mentioned, Pink Boots and the beer club for women previously. Yeah. Like, what drew yourself to creating like almost advocacy groups or channels that underrepresented people could learn more and be more included?
Well, more than anything, I feel like when I would walk into a brewery, I'm the only person that looked like me.
Sure.
Like, it's not a very diverse crowd. It's getting more diverse, which is awesome. And you walk into a brewery and it's so intimidating to see that board. And you're just like, oh my God, what do I order? What if I don't like this? What if I don't like that? I don't want to look like a fool,
Yeah.
So it was more than anything just to kind of teach women that maybe don't know about beer. But the club was in such a way that it was for people that were already in beer as well. We had a different topic every month. I would bring in different speakers. I'd bring in different breweries every month. And it just kind of snowballed into this huge, beautiful thing that, was awesome. And I think we're a little bit ahead of our time because then, a bunch of other stuff happened. And I just feel like if I can give these people a voice or help them out so they can experience the love of craft beer that I have, I think that's awesome. So to get more diversity would be great. I think San Diego as a whole is pretty good at that. But when I travel, and I do travel a lot for beer, you don't see it, which is, I think it's slowly coming about. But I think people need help, and if I can help them in any way I want to,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so that obviously that passion means a lot to you to take,
Yeah.
Your professional career and path going that direction, but a lot of this is your personal time that you're investing.
Yeah.
So, what drew you to the San Diego Brewers Guild in addition to these other organizations and allowed you to step up into the president role? I mean, that's a pretty big undertaking and commitment.
Yeah. More than anything, I never imagined, being a part of the San Diego Brewers Guild, the board of directors. And it was Haley Smith that approached me. So I blame her. But in a good way, obviously. She approached me and she's like, have you ever thought about, being on the guild? And I said, no, never really thought about it. And she's like, well, you're going to be, this kind of thing. And that, I'm so glad she did that, because I get more out of the hours that I put into this, and they are all volunteer hours. I don't know if people understand that, but just being able to help other people and to help breweries and to help our members specifically, I don't know that our members just really do realize how much we do and how much we can help them if they, reach out to us. So I invite breweries to know, hey, give us a call, send us an email, do what you got to do to get in touch with us and we can help you out. Might be something minimal, like connecting you with somebody else that might have an ingredient you need or supplies that you need, to something like, oh, you want us to go to your tap room and do a question and answer session? Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's something as simple as that. I mean, I'm always down to go to any tap room and drink a beer, So right now it's a really slow season, obviously, for breweries. So yesterday I told my son, hey, we're going to do our part and we're going to go to some breweries today. So spent the day drinking with my son yesterday and went to 4 breweries. And, just a little bit helps, and if you're doing this dry January thing, buy a gift card, buy a 4-pack for a neighbor or something, something as minimal as that really does help these breweries, especially right now in the slow season. So,
Yeah, I would say my own personal experience in having volunteered in a board seat for the guild or any other volunteer organizations, it's awesome to connect to the bigger picture. I think sometimes when you're running a business or working in a position, you get in the weeds of the day to day, but when you can connect through the guild or social groups, you get to start hearing about other people's problems or ideas and ways of solving your problem. And it also allows you as an individual and a professional to connect and network. And there's a lot of potential opportunities that come from that too. So I also encourage anybody interested in even furthering their career or stance in San Diego beer, to reach out and say, what are some ways I can help and learn more about the organization and the industry as a whole.
Yeah. Like exactly what you're saying. Just I don't think people realize they can help out, just a couple hours, if that, or just, maybe just reach out to us and we're there to help you, more than anything. So yeah.
Yeah, we, this year we're really emphasizing the people of beer.
Yeah.
Right. Looking at the individuals behind, the beer and the tap rooms and the experiences.
Sure.
I think the beer itself has been melded a lot more with these community hubs and community impact than ever.
Yeah.
I think, pre-COVID, we would see breweries centered around specific beer releases, and that would be their identity.
Right.
And I don't know if you see the same shift, but I see a lot less of that.
Oh, yeah.
And more, Sikh Runners Club. I saw a picture of that this last week, and there was 60 people standing out there. And that screams craft beer to me more than, this double barrel aged pastry stout that's been done 1,000 times before.
Yeah.
And not that there's not a place for that.
Sure. Like you're saying, place and time. Sure. You don't see the lines for people waiting for a beer release anymore. That's just, those days are past us, but you still see people going to events. People want to get out and they want to connect with other people. So like I said, maybe hold that, keep the pint night at your place, That hasn't been done 1,000 times, sure, but maybe that person didn't have your glass and now they're going to have it, or I don't know, do a Dungeons and Dragons night or something at your place.
Yeah.
You got to kind of start thinking outside the box and figure out what events work for you. And brewery owners know their clientele and they know what they like and they know what they don't like. So maybe a pint night works for you and maybe, Survivor night works for somebody else, like O'Brien's is doing right now, which is awesome, you know? So it's just a matter of figure out how you can get more people to come into your place and stay there.
Yeah.
You know, order that extra pint, maybe buy a shirt or a hat or something else, you know? So I think more than anything, you kind of have to figure out how can you get more people to come in, and how do you do that?
And that sounds like that's been a big part of your personal mission for a long time.
Yeah.
Is that accessibility portion. And I think the execution of that conversation is slowly changing, but it's still very relevant now more than ever because, you know, like Keep the Pint Night or these things that were very fundamental in our experiences becoming craft beer lovers and professionals. Just because we've done it 1,000 times doesn't mean that the 22-year-old
doesn't need a batch of drinkers. Right? Absolutely.
And there's things that we can do as an industry to shift further towards accessibility and open up the doors in welcoming, you know, younger beer drinkers or older that haven't experienced it, or under, you know, or marginalized demographics that haven't been as involved. But there's things like language that I think we could still be better at. Right? You read the side of a can and it has all these weird words on it that we all understand. I know what HBC 742 is, or, you know.
But does your average beer drinker?
Exactly. And so I think we need to remember that as a whole, that we need to look at what there was a podcast I was listening to recently that said it was an author of a very technical paper. And they said, I run this through ChatGPT or some sort of AI to help identify jargon that I might be blind to because I'm used to it,
you use it
and suggest words that everybody understands. And we need to get back to viewing it from somebody's eyes that don't know anything about it and want to be involved.
Sativa is your trusted partner in brewing quality control. An effective QC program provides consistency through all stages of the brewing process, from brewing to fermenting, which helps maintain the color, taste, and quality of your beer. We offer a comprehensive range of lab filtration products designed to meet all your QC needs during the brewing process, including microbiological analyses of spoilage organisms or degassing and removing yeast. Learn more at sativa.com.
Are you passionate about the craft brewing industry? Join the community that's shaping the future of beer in San Diego by becoming a professional or affiliate member of the San Diego Brewers Guild today. Unlock exclusive benefits, including access to industry events, educational resources, and networking opportunities. Elevate your craft, expand your network, and make a difference in the thriving craft beer scene in San Diego. Visit sdbeer.com for more information and to take the next steps towards becoming the heartbeat of craft beer. Join the Capital of Craft podcast in the San Diego Brewers Guild, where passion meets discussion and education. San Diego Brewers Guild, celebrating craft beer in San Diego since 1997.
Yeah, and it could be something as simple as explaining to somebody the difference between, you know, an IPA and, whatever other thing.
Yeah.
And I wish they'd use bigger font on cans nowadays. but no, what you're saying is 100% true. You know, you and I will read that can and we're like, oh, okay, we know exactly what this means. But somebody else is going to grab it and be like, I don't know what you're talking about here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just going to taste it and see what it's like. But if maybe you put different wording, like you're saying, on it, somebody say, oh, I am going to pick up that can. Let me take that and let me try it, as opposed to, oh, I don't know what that means. So let me just put that down. I'll try something else, you know.
Yeah. So in 2025, what are some things, whether it's like events or just general topics of conversation and initiatives, like what are some things that the Guild is doing that you're looking forward to that will educate people, be more accessible to consumers? Like what are some events and things that you're looking forward to?
Well, like I was saying, I would love to be able to go to breweries and say, hey, you know what, the Guild will be here today, or even just me will be here today, and I can answer questions for you guys, like for your drinkers or for, you know, your staff, you know, whatever you need. But I know we're actively working to bring back Rhythm and Brews, which I'm very excited about. The city of Vista really wants us to bring that event back. So hopefully that happens for San Diego Beer Weekend. And Capital of Craft Beer Fest for San Diego Beer Week. I think we did such an awesome job. I heard nothing but really good feedback about it. So I'm excited to do that again. And, you know, maybe we'll change venues. Maybe we'll stay at the same venue. We don't know yet. That's a conversation to be had. But we're trying to get San Diego Beer Weekend and San Diego Beer Week to be bigger and better. So we are making a few changes on things, and we're trying to bring, you know, more events and trying to get the word out to the rest of the world that we are the capital of craft here in San Diego. And, you know, we want everybody to see why San Diego beer is the beer you want to drink, you know, and that's how I feel. But, you know, I love San Diego beer enough that I want to kind of let everybody know about it. And how do I help you understand why you want to grab that hop foo, or why you want to grab, you know, a beer from Taproom or wherever else it is here in San Diego. So, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think is the reason that San Diego has been, you know, such a premier beer city over the last couple decades? I know you have seen craft beer and breweries all around the U.S. Like, what makes San Diego stand out?
I honestly think it's the community. Just the San Diego beer community is just amazing, and how helpful they are towards each other, and how, you know, they want to see everybody succeed. You know, yeah, it's a competition, but at the same time, if you can go to 2 or 3 breweries in one day, you will. You know, you have 1 beer at each place, or 2 beers, whatever it is. And everybody is so friendly towards each other, and everybody's just willing to help each other out. I think that's really what puts us head and shoulders above the rest, you know. And the other beer cities that I've been to, yeah, they're helpful, but not the way that San Diego is, you know, not the way that this community we legitimately like each other. We just, you know, and it's so funny because when we do go to like GABF or CBC, you see all of San Diego kind of just migrate towards each other. It's like we have internal magnets, and somehow we all find each other. And it's really nice to be able to hang out with other people in San Diego beer, and just how friendly everybody is and how welcoming they were, you know, because they didn't need to welcome me. I was just some average girl that liked to drink a lot, and they welcome me with open arms. And that's why I think I'm so willing to help out and want to get San Diego beer to back up there, you know, back up to where it should be. So, yeah.
I met with an affiliate member, like a trade member a couple of years ago at this point. And, they mentioned that San Diego beer felt cliquey, and it was hard for them to get a foot in the door. And it wasn't something I'd ever thought about, you know, talking about demographics. I'm a tattooed white dude with beards. I could walk in and not even work in beer, and they're going to think I work for a brewery. And it really stuck with me. And I think I mentioned it on the show a couple times, but you know, what's like, obviously that experience might vary from your you know, your path that you took, but what do you have to say to somebody who, you know, might be a little shy or timid and wants to be more involved and wants to learn more about it? Like, what do you suggest they do?
Honestly, use your resources. Join groups on, like, you know, be it Facebook or, you know, whatever like that. There's a really good group on Facebook, the Craft Beer Plexus. And if you go on there, you can literally find just the best resources from, you know, hey guys, this happened to this beer. How do I figure this out? And you'll have answers immediately. And it's some of the best people in San Diego that are willing to help and willing to answer you. Walk into Home Brew Mart and ask them.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good point.
That's another really good resource that I don't think people utilize as much as they should. You know, ask us. You know, we're here to help you out. So I think the answers are out there if you're willing to just find them, you know? So don't be shy about it. And people randomly walk up to me and they're like, hey, you're Esthela. I'm like, yes, I am. How do I help you? You know? So, and sometimes I'll be like,
step 1, find Esthela.
Yeah. Some days I'll be like, no, Stella's not here today.
Physically, I used to say physically, mentally, or emotionally.
Yeah. Well, what do you need first of all? No, just kidding. But, you know, honestly, just reach out and use those resources that we have, and just, you know, put it out there and say, hey, you know what? I'm having trouble with this, or I need this, you know, and you're going to have to be not timid for once and just try it out.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for you. You know, there's a whole lot of introverts, and I'm the one that'll find you and make you become a little bit of an extrovert.
Yeah.
So I love to talk. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think, the passion and the amount of love that's within the community can be intimidating to people. You know, there's a lot of people within San Diego that I've only seen outside, like at trade shows or different beer events outside of the city. And which is funny, you know, but you only see them once a year, and the amount of love that comes, or people that move off and move to a different state, and then you only see them once a year at something, to kind of interrupt that from the outside might be intimidating, right? Because there's, you know, again, speaking a language, like when you've known somebody for 10 plus years. So I think the guild needs to continue to think about ways to facilitate that entry of, new blood, and
Sure.
ways to get them, because it's hard, especially when time and bandwidth is low. Like sometimes we have people volunteer for events, whether it's San Diego Craft Beer Con or the Capital Craft Beer Fest, and it's great. We throw them, go move tables or whatever we need help with, but
that's an easy way to get in. That's how I started. I just started volunteering for beer festivals, and that's literally the way I did it. I never intended to become president of the San Diego Brewers Guild, but look, here I am. So maybe move a table sometimes or something like that. I think that's the easiest way to get in.
So you obviously have a lot of pride in the position that you're stepping into.
I do.
What type of accomplishment do you feel stepping into that role?
Oh man, like I said, I never expected this, honestly. And I just feel like, and mind you, I'm only president for a very short time. So changes or, things aren't going to come very easily. So obviously you need time, but I'm hoping, just to snowball from everybody that has done this position before me and to make them proud. And just, like I said, little stepping stones for San Diego beer and getting us way back up there, so I'm excited about that.
Looking back at the end of the year, what are some things that you would measure as use as measurements of success? Like if we executed everything that we plan on, what would you look back and be really proud and happy of?
That San Diego Beer Week becomes what it used to be, that people would travel here specifically for San Diego Beer Week, because we had such, and mind you, I know times have changed. People don't have disposable income like they used to anymore. And it's harder, but if we can get all these breweries to just say, okay, I'm only going to do one event for San Diego Beer, but make it the best event you possibly can, and it doesn't have to be something that's like super time consuming or anything like that. Maybe you're just going to release a beer, or maybe you have a flight of all of your award-winning beers, We have a lot of medals in San Diego, a whole lot of hardware. So it's time for us to really show these other cities why we have that much, and why we do what we do the way that we do it, and why it's specifically a San Diego IPA possibly, So I think if we do, Rhythm and Brews again, if we have another, Capital Craft Beer Fest, and if I can maybe get some more women to start drinking with me, that'd be great. So yeah, it gets a little tiresome sometimes to be the only female running around and doing stuff, I'm not saying I do that, by all means, there's so many others, but it's just, if more women could realize just what a wonderful world of beer we're in, it would be awesome.
Yeah. And proudly this year, I think we have a pretty diverse board, which is really cool.
Which is very nice. I'm excited for the board that we have, and I feel like we're going to get a lot accomplished this year. So
awesome. Well, thank you for coming on today. Where can listeners find you?
My Instagram is Madrina de Cerveza, which means godmother of beer. You can find me there, Facebook, all the things. And at Kilowatt a couple nights a week, so you could always find me there as well, in OB and Curtin Mesa.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for tuning in to the Capital Craft Podcast. You can find us at SD Brewers on Instagram or sdbeer.com. If you want to volunteer or looking for any other opportunities, reach out via Instagram or info@sdbeer.com. We'd be happy to have you and facilitate those conversations. Until next time, cheers.